Welcome, students. This is a quick review of power to a power exponents. Example 1, x squared raised to the third power. I'm going to start from the outside and identify my exponent, which is to the third power. That tells me anything that it's applying to is raised to the third power. So my entire expression within the parentheses then is going to be multiplied by itself 3 times. So this is the same as x squared times x squared times x squared. Now each x squared is the same as x times x, so I can expand it out further. Now I just want to take my expanded expression and turn it back into a simplified answer of a base and a power. X times x times x times x times x times x tells me that my base will be x and my power will be 6 because that's how many times I see it repeating. Y to the third raised to the third power, I'll do the same thing. Again, I will identify my power on the outside. This tells me how many times the expression in the parentheses is multiplying itself. So y to the third times itself 3 times. Each y to the third is the same as y times y times y. So as I fully expand it out, I'll figure out that my base is y, and my power will be 9, because that's how many times it repeats. I can do the same thing with a number base. In this case, I will look at my outside power, which is 3, and I will take what's inside the parentheses and multiply it by itself 3 times. So 2 to the fourth times itself 3 times. Each 2 to the fourth is just 2 times itself 4 times. And then I can simplify this further to a base of 2 and a power of 12. I could simplify it further to get a large number, but we are just going to leave our answers as a base and a power. Let's try example D. Notice I have a power inside as well as an extra one outside. So I'm going to look at this grouping first and work my way out. This 3 tells me I'm repeating my expression 3 times. So 3 squared times itself 3 times. Now, this 2 on the very outside tells me that everything that has occurred on the inside before it will be times itself twice. So, I'll take my simplified expression from the previous and repeat it. Now, every 3 squared becomes 3 times 3. I can see that I will have a final answer with a base of 3. And as I look at my power, I can see that I have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 threes, so 3 to the 12th would have been my final answer. Example 2. These can get a little bit harder when I add coefficients or leading numbers in. I'm going to apply the same process that I did to the previous examples. So I'll look at my outer parenthesis to figure out how many times the inside is repeating. So 2x squared times itself twice. Now, x squared can become x times x. My coefficients can simplify, so 2 times 2 will give me 4. And I have 4 x's, so I have a base of x and a power of 4. On this next one, I see that my outer power is 3, so 2x squared y times 2x squared y times 2x squared y Again, my x's can expand to x times x, so 2xxy for each one. My coefficients can simplify, so 2 times 2 times 2 will give me 8. I see that I have 2 x's in each expression, so 2, 4, 6. So my base is x, my power is 6. Then I see that I have 3 y's, so base of y, power of 3, and this would be my simplified answer. I would also accept 2 raised to the third power, x to the 6th, y to the 3rd. These mean the same thing. On the next example, I see that my exponent is a 2 on the outside, which means I'm just repeating my parentheses twice. So 3x squared, y squared, z to the 3rd times 3x squared, y squared, z to the 3rd. I can expand these out. 3xx, yy, z. And again, 3 times 3 will give me 9, or 3 squared. Either would be appropriate. X's, I see that I have 2 in the first expression and 2 in the second, so that is x squared. Y, again, I have 2 in the first and 2 in the second, so that is y squared. And 3 from the first and 3 from the second will give me z to the 6th power. And this would be my simplified answer. I want you to try D on your own. This is a challenge question. When you're ready to check your answer, unpause the video. First thing you needed to look at was the inside power. That tells me how many times to repeat my initial expression. So 4x squared y times itself twice. I would then go on and simplify this. 4 times 4 will give me 16. My x's can become x times x, so I have x to the 4th. And I have 2 y's, so y squared. This would then take over for this whole internal spot. Then, really, I'm taking this to the 3rd power. So, 16 x to the 4th y squared times itself 3 times. 16 times 16 times 16, I would allow you to write 16 to the 3rd power. X to the 4th times x to the 4th times x to the 4th. Well, each x to the 4th will expand out to be 4 x's multiplied together. So that would give me x to the 12th power. Each y squared will be y times y. So I'll end up with y to the 6th power. A truly simplified answer. You would determine the answer for 16 to the 3rd. However, since we are not allowing you to use a calculator, we will let you just give it as a base and an exponent. So 16 to the 3rd would be appropriate. Thanks for watching.